seemingly ordinary evening turned into a terrifying journey when I stumbled upon a mysterious video. After a long day of work, I sought refuge in the digital world of a computer game, yet instead of the expected tranquility, a cryptic message from an obscure social media group caught my eye. It promised a unique video that would irrevocably alter my life. The challenge it presented was irresistible. I wondered, how could a mere video hold such power? This curiosity led me to a webpage, offering a file download titled See and Understand. It was a hauntingly simple title that belied the video's enigmatic nature. There were no assurances about the video's content or its aftermath. Yet curiosity is a potent force, and I succumbed to its pull, choosing to take the risk. 3 simple clicks and the video was mine. As it began to play, an immediate sense of dread washed over me. A piercing brightness consumed the screen, and in an instant I was plunged into darkness. When I woke, I found myself in my room, a cold sweat dampening my forehead. The room was shrouded in a darkness so thick it felt like a living entity, a silent observer of my fear. My heart pounded in my chest like a war drum, fueled by an irrational terror that gripped me. My eyes were drawn to the calendar hanging on my wall, the date glaring back at me. August 13th. Suddenly I remembered the video's grim promise. A death sentence set to be carried out in a mere 12 hours. The stark reality of this prediction sent waves of panic coursing through me. The world around me took on a somber hue, the air heavy with impending doom. As I regained my senses, the reality of my situation began to sink in. It was a race against time, and I was already running out of it. The countdown had begun. The darkness around me seemed to hide an ominous presence, and the date on the calendar sent a chill down my spine. This was the grim realization that followed the viewing of that forbidden video. A wave of dread washed over me as the prediction of my demise in 12 short hours echoed in my mind. The video, so innocently titled See and Understand, had taken me on a chilling journey that was far from over. The icy grip of fear held me tight as I grappled with the reality of my predicament. Was this some elaborate prank? Or was I genuinely staring death in the face? In my desperation, I reached out to my friends, hoping to find solace and perhaps a logical explanation. But their reactions were far from comforting. They laughed it off as a joke, a sinister prank designed to scare the unsuspecting viewer. Their dismissive attitudes only fueled my growing despair and heightened my sense of isolation. As the hours ticked away, the world around me took on a sinister hue. The laughter of children playing in the park, the cheerful chatter of the coffee shop, the vibrant city life, all seemed to be steeped in a dark shadow of despondency. The ticking clock was a constant reminder of the video's grim prediction, each second bringing me closer to my supposed end. The anxiety was all-consuming, a relentless tormentor that refused to give me a moment's respite. My heart pounded in my chest, matching the rhythm of the ticking clock. The world outside continued in its blissful ignorance while I was trapped in my private nightmare. With every passing minute, the dread grew stronger. Every creak of the house, every rustle of the wind, every shadow thrown by the moonlight seemed to be a harbinger of my impending doom. My rational mind fought against the fear, but the video's prediction had planted a seed of terror that refused to be silenced. As the hours ticked away, I was consumed by a sense of impending doom. The reality of the video's prediction was becoming harder to deny. The countdown had begun, and with it, the struggle to defy fate. With only a few hours left, I decided to take matters into my own hands. A wave of determination washed over me. I was not about to let a video, no matter how mysterious or threatening, determine my destiny. I fired up my laptop and plunged headlong into the digital abyss, desperate for answers, desperate for hope. The internet, a vast ocean of knowledge, became my battleground against fate. I searched for anything that could explain the video, anything that might offer a glimmer of hope. Each click, each scroll, was a step deeper into a rabbit hole of uncertainty. I stumbled upon forums filled with people sharing similar experiences, tales of grim predictions that never came to pass. Yet, for every story of false prophecy, there were just as many recounting ominous predictions that had come true. This only served to stoke the fires of my fear, turning it into a raging inferno. As I ventured further into the digital wilderness, I found myself drawn to articles about the video's origins. Some claimed it was the work of a deranged hacker. Others suggested it was a cruel social experiment gone wrong. No matter the theory, they all seemed to agree on one thing: the video was no mere hoax. The clock continued to tick, each second echoing like a heartbeat in my ears. My heart pounded against my chest, a relentless drum echoing the rhythm of my dwindling time. As I delved deeper into the internet, the truth of the prediction became increasingly undeniable. I scoured pages of code looking for a loophole, a way to outsmart the prediction. But the more I searched, the more I found myself spiraling into a vortex of despair. The video's prophecy was like a spider's web, intricate and inescapable. In the face of the looming deadline, I felt a creeping sense of dread. But I refused to surrender, refused to let a faceless prediction seal my fate. I continued to fight, continued to search, fueled by a sliver of hope that I might yet find a way out. As I delved deeper into the internet, the truth of the prediction became increasingly undeniable. With time running out, I was left with no choice but to confront my fate. The ticking clock echoed ominously in the silence of my room, each tick and tock reverberating with the weight of impending doom. The digital numbers on the clock face seemed to taunt me, their cold green glow a chilling reminder of the dwindling time. My heart pounded a relentless symphony of fear against my ribs, and the air around me felt heavy, as though the very atmosphere was conspiring against me. A thick knot of dread lodged itself in my throat, making each breath a painful endeavor. I tried to shake off the gnawing fear, the mounting panic that was threatening to take over my senses. I paced the room aimlessly, my mind a whirl of frantic thoughts, desperate for a solution, a way out of this impending catastrophe. I scoured the internet, my fingers flying over the keyboard in a futile race against time. I delved into the deepest corners of the web, the dark underbelly of the virtual world, searching for answers, for some shred of hope. But every click, every page opened, only served to magnify my dread. The grim prediction of my impending death seemed to be etched in stone, an unalterable truth that was growing more real with each passing minute. I tried to reach out to my friends again, my pleas for help growing more desperate. But my words fell on deaf ears, their laughter echoing hollowly in my ears, a stark contrast to the icy tendrils of fear that were coiling around my heart. As the minutes slipped away, I could feel the tendrils of panic wrapping themselves tighter around me, squeezing the very life out of me. The room around me seemed to blur, my surroundings growing distant as the reality of my impending doom took center stage. I was caught in the grips of a nightmare, a terrifying dance with death that was spiraling out of control. As the final hour approached, I was gripped by an overwhelming sense of dread. As the clock struck 12, I braced myself for the inevitable. The final hour was upon me. Every tick of the clock echoed through the room, a grim reminder of my impending doom. I could feel my pulse racing, matching the rhythm of the clock. The fear was palpable, a living entity that seemed to choke the very air around me. As the minute hand moved closer to the hour, I could almost hear the Grim Reaper's footsteps echoing in the silence. The room was filled with a sense of dread, as if the very walls were closing in on me. The ticking of the clock seemed to grow louder, the sound ricocheting off the walls and filling the room with an unbearable tension. Then the moment arrived. The clock struck the hour and I waited for the end to come, but nothing happened. I opened my eyes and to my surprise I was still alive. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, the adrenaline rushing through my veins, but there was no pain, no darkness, just the sound of my own breathing echoing in the room. As the reality of my survival began to sink in, I couldn't help but laugh. The fear that had consumed me, the terror that had gripped my soul, it was all for nothing. I had allowed myself to be manipulated by a video, to believe in something that had no basis in reality. I had let fear control me, and in doing so, I had almost lost myself. In the silence of the room, I realized how easily we can be led astray by our own fears, how the unknown can fill us with dread, and how easily we can lose ourselves in the process. The video was a hoax, a cruel joke designed to prey on our deepest fears, but in the end it taught me a valuable lesson about the power of fear and the danger of believing in things that can't be proven. In the end, I learned a valuable lesson about the power of fear and the danger of believing in things that can't be proven.